Hey there everyone, I am Shufflecat, and this is the January 20th US 3v3 Pro Cup. On the warm team, we have Meat Bolt into Execute, no problem, and P actually, versus Testing Our Luck on the cold team. So starting this off, this is game number 1, and we have, of course, finished with the qualifiers and all that. Arborist starting off with the Fireworks Troll Medallion, spell blocking the Whirling Blade right there. Digital Mask does get hit by Affliction and is immediately switched on by Having, who actually ends up having his Shadow Bolt blocked. Fernando taking a little bit of damage here, but making sure to back off, does hit his blind there, managing to juke the trance from... what is that? Turkeys? Tukey's. Spending more time trying to pronounce his name than actually paying attention to the action there. And hitting that barrier at least twice there. That is a little bit of waste damage, but trying to get that down as fast as possible. We do see that Digital Mask, he has his ult up. Fernando could do a counter ult. We could see a contributing ult from Turkeys. He actually used an EX right there. Still holding on to that ult there. He's waiting for an out, definitely, but he could also be holding on to his energy just to keep outs from being used. But we did see him use an EX or a medallion at that point. Cold team does actually have the advantage in normal health, but not in recovery health. So we could see it switch over there. There we go. Tukey's or something goes down. Tukey's is how I'm going to pronounce it from now on. It does go down. The cold team Spearmaster Waru trying to keep out of the way of damage. He does dodge the majority of that Gunner's ultimate and then immediately runs into Arborist, which not a good idea right there. Digital Mask trying to take down Having with the EX Deadly Inject in order to take him down, but a very nice transfer from Arborist did save his life, so that kept it into a 3 versus 1. And after that situation, there was not all that much that Digital Mask could do. He was really low on energy. He didn't have anything really to help him get out of that situation and make it into a 1 versus 2, which is obviously the first step in beating a 1 versus 3. So we'll see what the cold team has to offer in this round here. See a stealth into Execute from Fernando. Actually gets fleet-footed by Tukey's. And Waro does go in for a little bit of damage, taking more than he actually dealt at that point. And Having using his Nether Shift to dodge that Deadly Inject. Fernando getting gangbanged by both melees on the cold team. Having does have his ultimate. We could see how far he goes with it. Instead using an EX Shadow Bolt. Meanwhile, Tukey's, he got a little bit too far away from his healer. You have to realize when you have a Alchemist that they can't get to you as quickly as they would like to. Arborist does have his ultimate. Not really needing it. Fernando just decided to use his. I'm pretty sure not any one of those did hit, but it caused Digital Mask to dodge into that Affliction right there, which... you can say that it did something at that point from that. Anyway, rambling on about that for too long. So, what we probably have been seeing is the difference between having a double melee on your team versus having a melee and a range. Because if you have range, you have to stay in there all the time in order to do damage. Whereas because the warm team has Fernando, they can do damage when they're at a distance, obviously. I mean, that's the benefit of having a range on your team. The disadvantage being that this sort of thing, there's not all that many support abilities that they can use to block that ultimate from Waro at that point. Having did get hit by Waru's stun. That's going to cause him to be down to about 25% damage. Tukey's does dodge that ultimate very nicely. I'm not sure if it actually did any damage, which is always a good thing about ultimates like that. Then, Having, he's... Ouch! There, he goes down, does take down Digital Mask at that point. And Tukey's trying to use his ultimate, but it did not last very long. So, Warm Team cleaning up their 3rd victory here. We're looking for 2 more victories from the Warm Team. Cold Team would, of course, have to do a consecutive 5 wins in order to come back from this point. They can't afford any kind of losses at all, because that would just be 50% of the way towards getting knocked out of this tournament altogether. Off the bat, Arbor is hitting a Spiritual Link and an Execute. That's gotta hurt. Waru has the barrier up, and Tuka is using his Fleet Foot not to escape. This could be bad for him. He could go down here. A barrier into Aegis, and a little bit of screen lag from myself. Tuka is using his Kunju to go back in, and having a little bit in danger there of going down, but not too much. Damage being spread out across the entire Warm Team. They're all taking about the same amount of damage, whereas most of the damage on the Cold Team is mainly focused on the Spearmaster, which I would say is a good idea at that point. Waru does get his ult off on Fernando, but other side does counter that. And now we have the Cold Team over kind of in this box here. This could be a bad position, especially if the ult comes down from Fernando. Waru did have the stun to block that, but it was not quick enough to save Tuckiz. I swear, I'm just going to stop saying his name from now on. And, of course, Amhavi could come out on the beneficial side for this, but he does get stuck in between both members of the Cold Team, and it does go down. Cold Team taking a round off of Meatbolt into Execute. And actually, I'm just now noticing Warm Team does not have a Glutton, so I don't know how they plan on doing that. Testing our luck, of course, being the Cold Team. So they are testing their luck against these very competent players on the Warm Team. And we do see a juke trance there. Very nicely done. Warm Team being pushed back here, but I don't feel like they actually care too much. Fernando taking a lot of damage from that deadly inject there. And Tuka does get his trance juked right there as well. Arbor's almost down, does go down right there. At the same time trading off for Digital Mass. So right now it's going to be a contest of who can take the least amount of damage, or at least who can use their energy to the full effect. Cold Team does have the advantage in energy. We could see Spearmaster use his ultimate right about here, but no, he didn't actually need it. So we're completely seeing a turnaround from the Cold Team. They seem to have figured something out. Not so sure what's going on with them, but they seem to have changed just enough in order to get the Warm Team's number. So we'll see if they can continue this on for 3 more rounds and turn this entire thing around. Not very nice for Tukas to actually take and Execute right there. Never want that. Fernando going down to about 50% health. A deadly inject on the Amhavi. He does use Nether Shift in order to get out of that. Doesn't actually hurt him all that much to use Nether Shift at that point. Almost has his ultimate up. And a block, mostly inefficient ultimate from Fernando, only taking out Waru, whereas it could have taken out 2 members if it was at a different time. Right there. So Tuka is almost getting a counter kill there. Digital Mass has his ultimate, does decide to use that on Fernando. He does not have his space up, and then he used his cloak so that he couldn't get any more continual damage. Tuka is down to about 15% health. He needs to get a counter kill or some sort of evening here, and does go down at that point. Almost had Arborist down. So we could see one more win from the Warm Team in order to finish this series up. Trying to see if there's anything that the Cold Team could do in order to even up this matchup. That is to say, turn this into an even fight, or rather get the kill off first before the Warm Team can focus down one particular target. And we do see that they might be doing a little bit more damage focusing on Amhavi at this point. Harbingers do have a lot of evasion and self-healing, as opposed to, say, a Gunner would. But Gunners, of course, can sit farther back and don't have to get in order to do damage, so that might be why they decided to do that. Took us down to about 25% health. He needs to avoid damage here. Fernando has his ultimate. He's ready to use his space, though. Oh, that ultimate was actually canceled, and Waru does take out Arborist at that point there. Could see the Warm team actually get taken out here. And down they go. Almost evening up this matchup. We could see this go into an ace round where both teams need to win one more round in order to finish up the series in their favor. If the Cold team can just do what they did last round, then that's what we're going to see right here. And let's see if they've got it in them to pull one more victory out of this series here. They're zoning out, the Cold team that is zoning out the rune very nicely. A space into blind from Waru, but unfortunately gets hit by an execute. In his case, he does decide to use his Bloodline Medallion, so Tukas is going to be a little bit alone for a little while there. Digital Mask does take a Shadow Bolt, so that healing might not have actually been beneficial in that sense there. We'll see if they can actually use it to their advantage at this point. A missed execute from Fernando does not do any damage right there. And a whole bunch of damage going off on Arborist. He does come out of other side at 25% health, but then pops his ultimate. So nobody really wants to touch him at this point. And, oh, triple ultimate from Waru. This could be huge. Down goes, I'm having, at that point, a other side cancels it for Arborist. And down goes Arborist to some Confined Fire. They did use the Ranid stun to their effect there. Fernando almost has his ultimate. We could see him use it. No, he actually goes down just before he can use it. So we do see this ace match that I was talking about here. Whoever wins this next round is, of course, going to go on to the next round of the tournament and win this game. So I always get so excited for these because it's the most tense round, and anything that happens is really important. Wow, lots of gunning going on to Tukas right there as 3 abilities charged at him. 25% damage being done to Waru at that point there, and Warm Team being pushed back once again into this box here. They don't seem to care all that much when this happens. I think it's because they have range. A execute on Tukas right there does take him down to about 25% health. Now he has a recovery health buffer in order to protect him. Arborist almost being line of sighted there, but Warm Team did recorrect their positioning in order to help that from happening. Split damage between Arborist and M having. Was that an ultimate from Waru? I believe it was. Yes, that was a whiffed ultimate from Waru and did not hit anyone at all. We could see Arborist go down here. He almost is dead, and then he does have a recovery health advantage. And Digital Mask about down to 15% health. He needs to get back into the fight in order to help out Waru, because otherwise Waru is just going to go down to average chip damage that goes his way. And nice meteor from there takes out a chunk of Arborist's recovery health there. Waru's down to 15% health, almost going down. A little bit of recovery health does help him out there. Digital Mask is preoccupied. He can't heal him at all. And having almost down to about 25% health. Waru could get the rune right here. Instead, no, he opts not to. He retreats a little bit. That could cost him an energy advantage, and there he goes down. Warm Team does win this game. Congratulations to Meat Bolt into execute, no problem. And they are going on into round number 2, and we're going to be taking a look at game number 2 for this particular tournament right in a minute right here. And welcome back. This is game number 2. We have Blurbing on the Warm Team here versus Friday Funds. Now, this does have Obeluff in it. Quite recently, I did a commentary including him, and somebody said that apparently I was pronouncing his name Oba Bluff, so I'm now going to change that into Obeluff and do that the correct way. Stream Blurb does grab control of the energy rune. He kind of backed off a little bit. He might be able to grab it right there. We do see a double shield. He does get it, so the energy advantage is going to Warm Team. Cold Team being bunched up there for a little while. It does allow a meteor to go down, juking a shield there. Obeloff does almost take out a big chunk of Blurbs, but a barrier is in response to that. Enlarge goes out on Obeloff, and he almost did some damage there, but a deadly inject causes the other side to be forced out on him. Lego almost being pulled in, and we could see ultimate does counter Obeloff's ultimate. He doesn't want to go into that goop. Lego almost down, could go down to that space, but he dodges it just barely. Blurb does pull in the Cycle Pump on Cold Team. That is Fire Inzer, and he's down to about 15% health, but Blurb could go down at this point. Lego almost getting down to that meteor. Double meteor onto Fire Inzer does take him out, and an ultimate from Blurb. And there goes down Lego right there. So it kind of seemed like that the turning point for that round was when Blurb did take the energy rune, and then Cold Team was centered around into this big ball, and a whole bunch of DPS was going out from Gushi, and that was just the perfect opportunity for him to do all the DPS that he wanted to. Once again, we see Blurb. He's taking the middle, just like a Thorn really wants to do. He blocks the Deadly Inject, or rather the Concoction Shell from Lego. And he does have his ultimate right off the bat, as having that energy rune would normally do. Forces the other side from Fire Inzer, and CC's Lego in order to do a little bit of DPS onto Fire Inzer. Does get his M1 Moonburst spell blocked. Obeloff almost down. He's at 15% health. Dodges a meteor. He's waiting for heals. He's line of sighting off in this corner, trying to do as much as he can with his projectiles. Unfortunately, Fire Inzer is just right out in the middle there. I'm not sure what this ultimate was for from Steam Bluff. That might have been a misclick at that point. We said all of Cold Team is at such low HP. Lego now down to 15% health. We could see any one of them go down. There goes down Lego. Obeloff, he's not giving up. He's trying to focus down Ryu, the Warm Team's Alchemist here. And down goes Fire Inzer. I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'm actually pronouncing his name incorrectly too. It's actually Fern'Inzer. What is up with these people's names? Come on, seriously. Fern'Inzer. Okay, I'm going to try to not mess up any names this tournament. That is my New Year's resolution. Seriously. Okay, so Cold Team does get CC'd right off the bat. That does allow Warm Team to get the energy room, but Blurb actually relinquishes control of it in regards for like some kind of space off to the side. Gushi is taking a lot of damage from Obeloff, and Obeloff does space in. We do see nice positioning from Cold Team here, and a nice ultimate from Warm Team. A double ultimate, and actually using Gushi's Tractor Beam in order to do a huge amount of damage to the Cold Team. Taking out Lego right there. Very nice and easy for them. And of course, Obeloff being the last one alive, as probably been the usual for these last 3 rounds. Warm Team being very decidedly the victors for these last 3 rounds here. We'll see if Cold Team has any kind of response to this, if they are going to take advantage of the forward control of the Warm Team in order to pressure this Alchemist and push them back some more, maybe. It doesn't look like that's what they've decided to do right off the bat. Instead, CCing Blurb, and then not really following up that much damage with it. Blurb does pick up the rune once again. Seems like Warm Team's strategy is based around his ultimate and comboing it up with a Tractor Beam, possibly using it in order to block off heals from right there. Obeloff just tunneling onto Ryu is putting a huge amount of pressure on him, and it's eventually going to cause him to break. And down goes Gushi. I had to figure out which engineer that was kind of quickly, but Gushi has gone down from the Warm Team. We could see this be a turnaround for the Cold Team. However, at the same time, Lego does go down, but some combined effort between Obeloff and Fern'Inzer does allow that to change around, and now Cold Team And that is to say, Friday Funds has pulled out their first victory out of blurbing. We could see if they have figured out that special kind of configuration or strategy that they need in order to turn this series around here. Using a Shrink Ray in order to take that Concussion Shell off of Obeloff in order for Obeloff to actually do a lot more damage. Steam Blurb down to about 75% health, powering right through that barrier there. Now we see the whole battlefield is really just in a big chaotic mess over here. And Gushi does pull out his ultimate. It's a double ultimate against the Cold team. Does deal a significant amount of damage, and Fernzer is actually getting double teamed right here. Does actually get hit by a meteor, but it doesn't matter all that much. He had enlarge up. That does mean though that Lego did have one less out that he could use, so this could be the cleanup from the Worm team. Right there we go. So it almost looks like we will not be seeing another one of those close match ones if Worm team can just do what they've just been doing these last 4 or so rounds. Then they're just going to pull out this fifth and final victory and move on to round number 2. Remember that this is still round number 1, game number 2. And this time, Cold Team is getting a little bit better zoning on the rune, that is to say. Could see Fernzer actually pick it up, and nope, instead Blurb picked it up. At the same time, Obeloff just jumping straight onto Ryu, as he always has been, and dealing significant pressure. We do see Steam Blurb uses his ultimate, actually a little bit of a whiff from there, and getting taken down to about 25% health. Lego does actually block that deadly inject by using his space. Obeloff could go down. He's at about 25% health, has a buffer there. Steam Blurb did go down over there, and there was a canceled ultimate from Lego. He had his ultimate up, but it was actually canceled. And Ryu does actually use his barrier in order to cancel out some of that damage. Cold Team just retreating a little bit. They already have the advantage. They have, actually they only have the team advantage, the team numbers advantage. They don't have a normal health advantage in this point. So that is one of the indicators when something could get turned around. Gushi getting pulled in, using an ultimate from Ryu in order to peel off from him. That was a smart or maybe even desperate move. Gushi using his ultimate could actually, it peels off. Once again, they're taking advantage of the fact that they have a little bit of a health advantage, but not all that much. In fact, actually, it's been torn down since last I talked about that. And there goes down a meteor onto Ryu, into a puncturing strike, into a ghost dagger. Does allow Gushi to go down. And because he was Ryu was being CC'd, he was not able to heal, and that allows Cold Team to take another round off of Worm Team, showing that you're not just gonna stomp all over us. I'm sorry. I'm really realizing in this video that I actually closed down the scoreboard as soon as it comes up, and that might annoy some people. But anyway, they're showing that they're not just going to get stomped over. They're going to pull out a couple of rounds here, and they're not going to go down without a fight. That is to say, if they go down at all, they could actually pull this out here. Cold Team pushing really hard here. Does grab the energy rune that belongs to Lego at that point. A nice positioning allows the Cold Team to heal up a little bit and taking advantage. Spell block on Steam Blurb's shield right there. Lego using that rune in order to get a fast ultimate. Does deal a little bit of damage there. Even more damage going on Steam Blurb. That shield just barely even lasted at all. Steam Blurb has to use his space in order to get out of there, and then an enlarge goes out on him. Ryu, in fact, taking a little bit of damage there from some combined efforts there. And there we go, an ultimate in order to push back the Cold Team, but they don't necessarily care. They have the energy rune. Nice Tractor Beam does actually damage normal health at that point. Elbow Bluff does get out of there. He was a little bit triangled, so he might wanted to get out of there. Now, Warm Team actually has the normal health advantage. Not the whole normal health, the recovery health advantage, so they're pushing up at this point here. Not seeing anyone near ultimates except for Lego. He does take a meteor right there and does use his ultimate. Gets blocked by 2 shields, does go down. He was triangled at that point and needed to get out of there just a half second before he actually did try to get out of there. Now we do see the Cold Team trying to pull out this 2 versus 3 right here. And no one is near dead on the Warm Team, so that might not actually happen there. And down goes Elbow Bluff. So congratulations to Blurbing for their victory. They are going on to round number 2. And we're going to have the 3rd game for round number 1 going on right now. Welcome back to game number 3. We have RIP Strad's Ping on the Warm Team and Where Fat. You would expect it to be We Are Fat, but it's actually Where Fat on Cold Team right here. So they are going to be duking out on Koju the Pygmy Village. Space coming out from Bap in order to get a spell block on Finlove, allowing him to block the space for just a little bit. Druppy getting CC'd there in the center there. Finlove is really far up here. He could easily get pulled into a position he doesn't want to be in. Almost taking the energy rune there. Doesn't seem like anybody wants it. They're almost ignoring it. And a EX Insects coming from Jolly Rancher does force the space from Druppy. And we do see Druppy, he uses his ultimate just after Jolly Rancher has used his. We could see another ultimate from Finlove. Actually gets whiffed at that point, but Druppy does go down right here in the center. A cancelled ultimate from Jolly Rancher. It was cancelled by All's treacherous roots. It can be a little bit annoying how that ability, you mean well, but it actually ends up screwing over your teammates a little bit sometimes. I, as a former Thorn player, I know full well about all of the ultimates that you can cancel using Thorn Shield. I'm sure also people who main Glutton and Metal Warden know full well what I'm talking about right there. Once again, we see Bap does space forward in order to get the spell block off on Druppy. He's getting a little bit out of position there, but Finlove doesn't want to chase. So we do see Cold Team had the advantage, I mean not the advantage, but the positioning on the rune, but they kind of relinquished it to the Warm Team, so Snuggers is going to grab that. And a whole lot of damage, a collapse going off on All at that point there. Finlove gets feared. Snuggers has his other side forced, due to being down to 25% health, does pop his ultimate. Druppy retreating just a little bit there. And we see a collapse onto Jolly Rancher. He spaces out. We could see there goes down the ultimate from Druppy, but it could cost him his life. And an ultimate from All does block off the healing. And Snuggers does go down right there. Bap using his ultimate. Not really too much avail, but it is in fact advantageous to cause somebody to use their ultimate. So we have 2 rounds, one from the Cold Team here. Gotta see what the response from Warm Team is. If they will change up their level of aggression or that sort of thing. Finlove does space in, and Cold Team has the ring position. They relinquish it once again. See what's going to happen when it comes back up. Bap taking about 25% damage, almost down to 50% right here. And we see an EX Insects does peel off from Jolly Rancher. Bap has his ultimate, decides to use it. I'm not sure if that actually did any damage. Bap spaces out. He's down to about 15% health right here. And we could see All goes down to about 50%. And Bap is just playing this kite game right here, just trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Finlove has gone down to 25% health, has his ultimate, does use it, but it gets whiffed because of the Thorns roots right there. And Finlove down to about 15% health. Snuggers has his ultimate. And Anybody could go down. It's just really going to be who makes the wrong step. And it, in fact, was Bap. He went down right there. But a counter kill onto Finlev does make this a 2 versus 2. Cold team does have the normal health and recovery health advantage and the comp advantage, in my honest opinion, due to the self-heal that they have. And of course, it looks like they might also have the energy advantage. So we'll see how this ends up right here. The Thorn on the Cold team does have his ultimate, decides to use it right there. Doesn't actually do any damage with it, but it did force a reaction. Snuggers pops his ultimate. That forces a Roots from All. And Druppy going off onto Jolly Rancher does use this Kunchu to get out of there. Could see an ultimate from Druppy right there. That was very nice from him. And Jolly Rancher going down to about 15% health right here. And could go down. Yes, there he goes down to a Whirling Blade just before the Thorn could use Healing Spores on him. All could turn this around completely. It's just a matter of CCing one of the targets while DPSing the other one. He's down to 15% health. That Shuriken actually did hit him. And it's just one hit. We'll take him down from here. He does have the energy runes, so that gives him the ability to heal one more time. And that will allow him to take 2 or 3 hits at the most. If he can get a little bit more energy like that, he will have the ability to heal. But he's already used his defiled roots, his defiled plant, so he can't heal for about 10 more seconds, about 2 more seconds. There we go. He does heal himself, but it was way too late. So, Warm Team, they've shown they can pull off a round out of the Cold Team Werefat. So we'll see if they can do that 4 more times. Cold team does have the advantage here, but you never know who's going to win the next couple of rounds. Druppy does get blinded right off the bat there. Cold team has the advantage on the rune there, but Warm team making a quick jump up does force the Cold team to go back. We could see energy rune comes up and All takes it at the cost of a little bit of damage. And now we're seeing a huge collapse right there in the middle. Bap going down to about 25% health, is trying to kite back. The Warm team is actually line of sighting their healer at that point, so that caused Druppy to go down to about 25% health there. And at the same time, Jolly Rancher was collapsed on, and he went down right there. And could see if there's a counter kill. There is indeed a counter kill, so now there is a 2 versus 2 situation, and Snuggers is the closest one to going down. Cold team definitely needs to jump on them. We see a heal from All, but it actually missed Bap. So this could be where Finlev takes out Bap. Bap is, of course, the closest to going down, so he might want to focus all of his attention on him, but All is just not letting him do that. Nice heal from the Thorn. Does allow Bap the opportunity to heal in the center, and does get out there in time. All probably needed to take the energy there so that he could heal one more time. Does CC Finlev, and there goes he down. Goes he down to a mortar shot right there. So Cold team, they seem to be very, very good at getting those counter kills. Because, in fact, Jolly Rancher did go down first. And then they just did a counter kill onto Snuggers. And that was, of course, the kind of turning area where things turn about twice in that sort of situation. So we see Cold team positioned over in this area could allow them to get a line of sight or be line of sighted. We'll see. Bap does get taken down to about 15% health, 50% health that is. Jolly Rancher is the one who's going down to almost 15 right here. Does pop his bullet shield, but Bap could not get away from Finlev. He already used his space, and we have an ultimate from Druppy. Could take anyone down at this point. Jolly Rancher almost down, had his space up, tried to use it, but too late for that Whirling Blade. And Snuggers could use his ultimate, but doesn't see the need to. Probably just saving his energy in case he needs it for an EX or something to that effect, maybe even a medallion. So pretty even between the two teams. Right here we see that no clear victor between these two. And Finlev does jump in order to get a knockback on Jolly Rancher. He's almost line of sighting his team at that point there. And a huge advancement of the Warm team. They almost seem to be training onto Jolly Rancher at this point. An intercept from Finlev takes him across the screen over to here. And we see that he's going, he's just trying to choose his target. Snuggers, on the other hand, is trying to figure out where he fits into all of this and is taking a little bit of damage in the process. A little bit of a 1 versus 1 over here from All and Droopy. And a whiffed shield from All does not do all that much there. So, Cold Team does not have the advantage. In fact, they have the disadvantage in terms of normal health. Double kill onto the Cold Team. And Jolly Rancher probably soon to follow right here. Just getting completely collapsed upon by the Warm team. So, evening it up between the Warm team and the Cold team. As we see here, 3 apiece for either one of them. We'll see just basically if we're going to get into another one of those ace matches between the two, where one more round is determinant of everything. Once again, Warm team being super aggressive, pushing all the way across. Snuggers takes an execute. And Cold team being surrounded here. Cold team seems to try to do a kite sort of situation, which is of course dependent on their composition, but that left Jolly Rancher off to the side over here, so now he's down to about 25% health. All has his ultimate. Bap used his ultimate. Droopy should use his ultimate sometime soon, eventually. There we go, ult and counter ult. Meanwhile, there's a 1 versus 1 between Gunner and Snuggers right there. And kill and counter kill. 2 versus 2 going on right here. Maybe a little bit of a mismanage there, but Cold team does manage to reset. And Finlev trying to grab that rune, but didn't work out too well. Snuggers taking an execute because he had to use other side on Finlev, and now he's going to get hit by an ultimate. Entire ultimate. Every one of those rockets actually hit Snuggers, as far as I saw. So that lets Cold team, that's a rare fat, pull into the lead. We're looking for one more round from them to tie up, not tie up the series, but rather to finish this series in their favor. Warm team, every time taking the initial hits from Bap there, but never really doing all that. I mean, it does do something, but it doesn't do that much, to be completely honest, if you don't capitalize on it immediately. Snuggers going down to about 75% health, and Bap as well. Cold team, actually the normal healths are even. All uses his ultimate in order to get out of that mess, not so much for the damage, so it wasn't exactly a whiff, it was just a out for him. So Cold team once again doing their kiting. Bap using his ultimate does hit 2 rockets on Droopy at that point, taking him down to 15% health, and an execute from behind finishes him off. Finlev getting feared. Cold team taking the rune. This could be the final round right here. Finlev so close, does get a heal off from the mind transfer, and down goes Snuggers into the final cleanup from Cold team. Congratulations to WearFat for their victory. They are going on to round number 2, and we're going to get the final game for round number 1 right now. And here we are in the final game for round 1. We have Nice Ping USA versus Friend on the Cold team. They are, of course, going to be duking this out on Bucko's grave. We'll see if which team decides to space off in the beginning. Actually, nobody. Oh, okay, I was going to say nobody was going to space off, but the Warm team does. That is important because of how huge Bucko's grave is. Enjoy Myself is pulling himself into this tunnel here against Phil Shill, who does go down to about 50% health, that is. SNSD almost at ultimate here. Phil Shill going way back here in order to defend himself. Meanwhile, we have an ult onto Virian, the Pomp right there. And Warm Team being pulled into this area here, this may be beneficial or not, depending on how this turns out. Skitchu Jin going down to about 50% health, and does use Gurgans as well as another side. He almost could go down here. At the meantime, Varian does go down, and an ultimate from Enjoy Myself does take out Skit Eugen. I'm going to not pronounce anybody's name incorrectly this time. And Phil Chill playing the runaround game here that we all enjoy when somebody does that on Baku's grave. I mean, it's just required that somebody has to do it. That you just have to. And it doesn't matter how close the game is or not. You just gotta do it. Definitely. Alright. So that is round 1 for Cold Team. We'll see what the response from Warm Team is. It is, of course, going to be Phil Chill spacing in once again. Does take a sluggish right off the bat, pulling back into that bridge. He doesn't seem like he wants to because of what happened last time. Enjoy Myself does go onto Varian for a little while there, dealing with some damage. Phil Chill kind of hanging out around the Cold Team's area there. Does take Zex down to about 50, now 15% health, thereabouts. Meanwhile, the Cold Team's Nomad does go down while he had his ultimate. Yes, he did actually have his ultimate. I just had to do a little bit of a check there. And Cold Team now getting pulled into this corner right here. Not too smart coming from the smart camera, so we're going to switch over to free right here. Enjoy Myself is all by himself right here. Zex did go down while I was switching over the camera, so that's a bit unfortunate. I'm getting my finger off on that button now, so that I can get a better view as quickly as possible when I need it. So that's going to become standard procedure. So we're going to see if Phil Chill does decide to space once again. We'll see how he continues on with this round. And at this point, Cold Team has the energy rune. Well, I mean, they could grab it at any point here. Zex taking a huge amount of damage out of range from his Nomad. Enjoy Myself is doing pressure, but is taking counter pressure. Does go down to a meter right there. Or rather, that might have been his own meter there. And S&D being kind of wedged between the Warm Team. And nice double ultimate there. Almost taking out Phil Chill. Could go down to any chip damage he gets out of there. Even though he has his ultimate, he can still pressure by using his Shadow Bolts. And did get hit by a Sluggish there. Then taking out the Cold Team's Nomad there. Zex down to 15% health. He pops his Aegis right there and does in fact go down. Varian taking the MVP slot for that round. And apparently, Enjoy Myself had the highest TPS. This sort of information that I've never talked about before, I am now mentioning. Alright, so Skitchujin possibly talking in all chat right about there, or talking about team strategy and team chat was a little bit delayed, but does not matter all that much as Baku's is such a huge map. And Phil Chill almost line of sighting his healer. I mean, Varian might not be able to see him at that point. Now getting triangled, Phil Chill used his Nether Shift to get deeper in. Meanwhile, Skitchujin actually using his Tractor Beam to pull in Zex. He's about down to 15% health. Phil Chill popping his ultimate. Zex moving off into this bridge. He might not be able to skip that ultimate. He does. And the Cold Team's Nomad did go down to Phil Chill's ultimate right there. Zex never got to use his ultimate. And a little bit unfortunate about Grimrock is that you never... It's a really situational ult that you can't just use. You know, it's not something that you just push the F button and you use it, even though that's actually how you use it. I'm not going to go into that right now. So, we do see Warm Team has pulled out 3 victories here. We'll see what the response from Cold Team is, which is, of course, Enjoy Myself is going deep into pressuring Zex down to about 50% damage. A little bit of a misclick there allowed him to get hit by 2 or 3 different abilities at the same time. And now Cold Team, in order to support him, is now getting stuck into this corner. And Jan20th does go down to a huge burst combo. And this could be the 4th round being cleaned up by Warm Team. Indeed, the Nomad just gives up right there on the bridge, because he knew that there's nothing you can do. I mean, looking at this health bar right here, how quickly could he have taken that down? And how much self-healing were they going to get in the meanwhile? Might as well just allow the next round to happen as quickly as possible. Just get on with it. And be a little bit professional about that. So, enjoy myself taking just about every ranged ability that's being thrown at him. Just decide to let the debuffs fall off and then go in. That allows him to do more damage. A parried Shadow Bolt goes off on Phil Chill right there. Enjoy myself going down to about 50% health. And Varian taking a couple of pot shots, does line of sight himself over there. Zex doing his combo off on Phil Chill, takes him down to about 25% health. Cold Team's Nomad uses his ultimate. And Enjoy does go down to Skit. And Nomad getting pulled in. Skit doing a little bit of damage there. And Zex getting pulled into a Boomstorm, uses his ultimate onto Varian, uses it to fear Varian, and then the Nomad did go down right there. The whole time he was separated from his healer and could not get healed. So, congratulations to Nice Ping USA for the victory. They're going on to round number 2, which we will be watching right now. And welcome back. This is first game of round number 2. We have Meat Bolt into Execute No Problem versus Blurbing on the Cold Team. This is, of course, Dubaku's The Fallen Forest. The map will be. And from last time, we saw that Cold Team was really good at zoning the rune. And for Warm Team was also really good at retreating into their box and just doing the range damage. So we see Warm Team has taken the rune position, a Deadly Inject on Arborist. He had nothing to counter that at that point, at least not worth it, and does grab the rune. Arborist does have his ultimate ready, decides not to use it just yet. I don't know if he knows that the barrier is down. There he goes. Does use his ultimate right there. A meteor goes off on Arborist. And Gushi has his ultimate. Could decide to use it sometime soon, right about now. And there we go. A double ultimate. And a little bit of it reflected by Arborist right there. Steamblurb decides to pull in Fernando, but that is blocked by an Aegis, and Gushi trying to do a little bit of damage to him. Having this ultimate's going to block off the team from receiving any heals. Another ultimate from Arborist, and it's actually a double ultimate from Fernando as well. Triple ultimate from Am having as well. Unfortunately for Arborist, he does get pulled in, and Am having down to about 25% health, needs to get healed up immediately, down to 15% health. Fernando takes out Gushi with a spacebar. Fernando does hit the Thorn Shield with his Execute, and unfortunately for him, gets stuck in a Thorn's ultimate for a little while, and does not hit that Execute from Fernando on Steamblurb. And that was a meteor from Cold Team onto Steamblurb, doing a little bit of damage on him. Counter kill finally onto Arborist. So now this is a 2v2, possibly into the favor of Cold Team. We see an ultimate coming from Steamblurb onto Fernando. Does take him down to quite a considerable amount of health. A Execute into Storm, Shadow Bolt, that is, onto Steamblurb. But it does take out Fernando with a fungal spores, space onto Am having, and a meteor, almost taking him out, but finally finishing him off with a fungal spore. So that was a really intense first round there. I almost felt like that was the whole game. I mean, I was almost ready to say, oh, that was it. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time or something. But that was in fact only the first round from these two teams. We'll see what Warm Team has to respond to this. And they whiffed Martyr from there into a Shadow Bolt onto Gushi there. Warm Team once again having the energy rune position. and managing almost to pick it up. A deadly inject on M having is blocked by another shift, and lots of damage going down on Gucci and Steamblurb. At the same time, Gucci could go down to 15% health, and the Mortar almost taking him out. Steamblurb is, of course, tanking right here. Ryu using his ultimate, Gucci pulling M having into the ultimate using Tractor Beam, does take down M having at that point. Fernando could go down right here, uses his space, but Arborist was stuck in Steamblurb's ultimate right there the whole time, taking him down to about 25% health. Once again, the teams are almost even in normal health, but Fernando does not have any recovery health, so we'll see if they can reset the match. They could grab the energy rune, but it doesn't seem like either one of them have any time to do so. Fernando just barely escaping. They're going to know exactly where he is as soon as he comes out of Cloak, and there he goes down to a Fungal Spore. So Arborist does give up at that point. There's not all that much he can do, or maybe doesn't even really want to try. Just get to the next round. He has 3 more rounds at the least to turn this around, so really you usually want to get a clean one as opposed to a barely win. Arborist deciding to space in there to use his fear, but instead taking a lot of punishment for that. And Cold Team taking the initiative right here. And M having doing a little bit of a dance with Gucci, taking him down by 25% health. M having also taking a little bit of damage himself. And Fear goes off onto Gucci. He's not going to use his ultimate for a little while. Could see a counter ult from Arborist. Does in fact do that. And a double ultimate actually. Gucci going down to about 15% health. Steamblurb has his ultimate, could use it at any minute. Does use it in order to peel off Gucci, who almost died to a mortar there. And Arborist moving into the ultimate, but he doesn't seem to care because Gucci did go down there to M having. And Steamblurb just trying to do a little bit of damage here while Ryu trying to heal him up. And there goes down Steamblurb. He was actually on the other side of that Chronoflux, which blocked 2 or 3 of Ryu's M2s at that point. And that possibly was what the death of him was. In fact, actually just now noticing Ryu had a horrible ping. That could have been what was messing them up for that round there. Alright, so Arborist once again trying to be a little bit aggressive there. Liking that from him. But he keeps on getting punished for it, unfortunately for Arborist. Fernando seems to be the focus there, and having picking up the rune, does pull in Gucci and does damage there. And Steamblurb does manage to dodge the execute there. Gucci's got his ultimate up. And a counter ult from Arborist there does take a lot of health off from Steamblurb. He does go down right there. And Ryu, it seemed like he got hit by that execute. I'm not sure, I didn't see it closely enough. Ryu has his ultimate, uses it to hopefully for him take off a huge chunk of M having right there. And both of them do go down to an ultimate from Fernando. The Cold Team was stuck in that corner, so there was no way for them to really dodge the rockets. So that was actually a good situation for them because of Ryu's ultimate, but a bad situation because of Fernando's ultimate. Once again, Warm Team taking control of the energy rune. We'll see who actually does pull it in. Arborist does take a little bit of damage there, but Steamblurb decides not to pressure even more. Gucci went for the rune, but gets feared instead. And now Cold Team being pushed back again. I mean, why not? There's no rune going to be there for a while. Arborist has his ultimate. Ultimate from Gucci. Fear into ultimate does allow Gucci to get hit. Steamblurb did go down because he had no range support at that point. I mean, he didn't go down, he went down to 25% health, and now finally going down. A silence onto Ryu, barrier. Gucci is down to 15% health, does go down right there. He was a little bit sandwiched between 2 Warm Team members, and that allowed a crossfire onto him. Arborist apparently was about to use an EX. You saw that little swirly energy around him. He was just about to use an EX something just before that round ends. If I were to guess, he probably was going to use an EX Fear, because I think the EX other EX is actually like an instant cast. I'm not sure about that. right off the top of my head. Gushi getting pulled in, does get hit by an execute through the barrier. And Cold Team once again getting pushed way back here, and actually they did more damage, but they were not able to capitalize on that immediately. Am having tried to use another shift in order to block that deadly inject, but it was actually a little bit too soon. Stainblurb was on Arborist right there, doing a little bit of damage, but he's probably in for too long, taking huge amounts of damage. He's now triangled. He needs to get out of there. Down to 50% health. Down he goes. And Ryu does go down at the same time. Did not have his barrier up to block those last couple of rockets. Gushi could use his ultimate. There he goes. And down he goes, in fact. So we could see just one more round from the Warm Team could finish this up, or we could see Cold Team trying to pull out 3 more rounds and finish this game up in their favor. We'll see how they respond to that. It's funny to see Arbor's spacing up there. I really appreciate seeing him try and do pressure there, but he keeps on getting punished, so that's a little bit interesting there. And am having jumping directly onto Ryu, taking down Ryu to about 50% health. Nope, a little bit more. And Gushi getting feared way over there, so he has his ultimate. See if he uses it. Am having blocking the deadly inject with space and canceling out Gushi's ultimate with a blood grip steamy blurb down to about 25% health. Does in fact use his ultimate on Fernando, not too much damage in that, just used a alt out, and down goes Ryu to an EX Affliction, silences him into a execute, and now Gushi could go down any second there. Down he goes. So that is the victory for Meat Bolt into execute, no problem. Congratulations to them. They're going to the Grand Finals, and we're going to see game number 2 of round number 2 right here. And welcome back. This is the final game before the Grand Finals. We have Werefat versus Nice Ping USA, who apparently has a chicken and an airplane. This is, in fact, Chickens on a Plane, the movie. It is coming out this summer. Coming soon to theaters near you. I hope you guys want to buy tickets to that. It is at the booth outside. Anyway, so Warm Team does have the rune advantage here. They could actually pick it up. A blind goes out on Phil Chill right there. Skit almost dodging that EX there. And a little bit of damage going off on the engineer. He does decide to use his Aegis there. And a pull into Fungal Spores into blind from BAP is a nice combo there. Phil Chill is the lowest target, so he takes damage right there. And gets pulled back into the ultimate. But a shrink does allow him to get out of there. Cold Team putting themselves into this alley could be a good thing or a bad thing for them. Phil Chill's already used his nether shift, then spaces out of there. So this is possibly better positioning for them. It's going to take a while for Warm Team to get to them, and they're splitting themselves up a little bit. So that could have been some damage from the Cold Team. Skit has his ultimate, but he's looking for a situation to use it. He's down to 15% health, uses Aegis instead in order to survive. An EX Insects onto Varian means that he was not able to heal Skit at that point. And now Phil Chill could go down. He does not have Nether Shift. He uses a EX Silence in order to heal up some more. And now Cold Team split up. Could see either one of them get collapsed on at this point. Right now it's Varian. And he's already used Nether Shift. I mean, not Nether Shift, other side. And a canceled Shadow Bolt from Phil Chill, trying to get some health from his Nether Shift and another side. Oh, that possession from Jolly Rancher held Phil Chill still long enough for BAP to actually hit a couple of M1s. If you don't know, the space ability from Blood Priest actually holds you still. It's almost like a stun, in that it interrupts everything that you're doing and holds you still, and other people can still hit you while you're in that effect. BAP taking a Shadow Bolt, probably not expecting that. Varian gets pulled in, and a shield from All, and a Breakstone from him does take off that EMP right there. Going all in, and could see a little bit of damage on Varian, down to about 50% health, using his other side to get out of there, and just out of range of Bap. Skit now is the target. He's already used his space, so that makes him the target for All's ultimate there, and he could go down other side onto Skit, makes the switch onto Varian, so the Warm team collapsing onto the healer from the Cold team allows him to go down, and down goes Skit, the Cold team engineer, and a meteor quite possibly finishes off Filchill for the second victory on the Warm team. We're looking for 3 more from them, and they are going to go to the Grand Finals. And we'll see what the response from the Cold team is. So far, the Warm team has been really good at zone runing, and that seems to be what they are doing right about here too. So maybe that could be the key for Cold team to kind of turn this around, is to start zoning the rune a little bit more aggressively. Right now they're getting pushed back into this box here. This is not where they want to be. Bap is right in his element, just putting M1s into there, and All is just basically blocking them from getting out there. Jump from Bap is spell blocked, so that takes him down to about 50% damage. But Jolly Rancher used his ultimate, triple ultimate from the Warm team. Huge amounts of damage. Everybody's dying. It's a massacre out there, ladies and gentlemen. That was about 10 seconds of carnage from the Warm team, taking out the Cold team right there. I'm sure somebody probably shouted, "Say hello to my little friend," or something similar to that. At least that's what I would have done in that situation. Double space from the Warm team and a response from the Cold team. They look like they're trying to zone out the rune, but Filchill is getting punished for that. Now they're getting pushed back once again. We could see Warm team once again take a hold of the rune, which we did see right there. Of course, getting the energy advantage. Once again, Cold team getting pushed back into this box, but Filchill doesn't care. He's just going to damage Jolly Rancher down to about 50%, and all the teams are really split up at this point. Bap is the closest to going down to about 50%, 15% health, that is, and All has his ultimate. Bap does go down. Jolly Rancher does go down. All using his ultimate. Tried to pull in Varian, but Varian had an other side to respond to that. This could be Cold team cleaning up for their first victory. So kudos to them, saying to the Warm team, essentially, we're not going down without a fight either. So, in fact, actually, is this the first team? I do not remember. Anyway, so this could be Cold team turning around. Like I was saying, that they could be zoning the rune a little bit more aggressively, and that might be what they're shooting for. Filchill, of course, he always seems to be getting punished for his forward behavior, and then he immediately moves back. That does not seem to be necessarily what he needs to do in this situation. Jolly Rancher once again taking the rune, so that kind of shows what that retreat causes to happen. Skit and Bap in a 1-versus-1 confrontation here. Jolly Rancher has his ultimate, could use it, and Varian is almost at his ultimate. Could see a triple ultimate coming from the Cold team in the next couple of seconds. There's Varian's ultimate, and almost there's Skit's ultimate right there. Filchill's almost got his, down to 15% health. He's actually going to use his ultimate, which allows him to heal himself back up. All is a little bit overextended there. Bap is the closest person to die on the Warm team, so he's going to be back a little bit. Once again, Cold team is put into this box. Skit got hit by an execute. He needs to get out of there before he takes any more damage. Down goes Filchill. Unfortunate for him, Varian's down to 15% health. Down he goes, and Skit as well, going down to a fungal spores at that point. And apparently Bap was the MVP for that round. Excuse me. So this looks kind of one-sided towards Warm team, which is to say Werefat. That name does make me giggle. And Filchill does get blinded, but still manages to hit his Shadow Bolt. Looks like Cold team might, Warm team, it might be a little bit cocky here. I saw Bap do a 360 execute, but missed it. And we'll see if that ends up punishing them for their cockiness. And Cold Team once again getting pushed back into this position here, pulling in Jolly Rancher. That was kind of a good move there. Jolly Rancher spaces out of there. And Skitchington does not get... Oh, actually he did get blinded there. And Varian does take a huge amount of damage. He does get hit by that execute there. And he does have his ultimate. Double ultimate coming from Phil Chill as well. But Jolly Rancher did counter all of that. Lots of pressure going out on Varian. He could very well go down right about now. He does have Weaken on him. Does manage to spell block the Root Bash. And Skit is losing this 1-versus-1 against Bap in my opinion. Actually, Bap could go down there. I only based that off of the fact that he was hit by a blind. And Jolly Rancher also goes down to a Blood Grip into M1 from Phil Chill. So that means that Warm Team could very well go down to this. They could get cleaned up. They are separated, so down goes Bap. He was not able to get any support from the Thorn on his team. And Varian almost could go down there. He does use a other side in order to escape from that. All does use his healing spores in order to stay alive for just a little bit longer. His Root Bash does get spell blocked right there. Just trying to move away for just a little bit longer so that he can heal up. But it doesn't matter because Cold Team had enough damage to take him out anyway. So we do see Cold Team could turn this around. To be honest, nothing's counts them out just yet. We'll see what happens. I mean, if Warm Team continues to do with their cockiness that we saw last time, could have been the cause for their loss. Now, Jolly Rancher is placed on the rune right there. Could grab it right there. Yes, he does. And All almost has his ultimate. We could see a double ultimate. Skitchingen trying to pull in and do some damage there. Does almost take out Bap. Jolly Rancher has his ultimate. Could see a counter ult come from Phil Chill. And almost got hit by a execute there. There is a double ultimate from the Warm Team. Almost takes out Skitchingen. And he gets hit by a execute there. He just wants to move off and heal up a little bit. He does get the healing he needs. But Phil Chill is still off here by himself. And does manage to get out of there in time. But now he's taking a whole bunch of damage. He's kind of blocking off this area. But he doesn't necessarily need to per se. Oh, that was a whiffed space from Skit. Didn't really need to do that. Unfortunately for Warm Team, they did not punish that. Jolly Rancher does have his ultimate. We'll see if he uses that in these tight spaces here. Actually whiffs one of those corp explosions. He was doing that completely blind, but he only hit one of them. So could see a ultimate from Phil Chill. Does actually pop that and uses it on Jolly Rancher. Dodges that shield and does a little bit of damage to All. And once again, we see the Cold Team is split up. Phil Chill kind of a lone ranger in this game here. He's still triangled off in this direction here. Varian and Skit trying to catch up with him. And dodging that ultimate from Jolly Rancher right there. Very nicely done. Bap does go down to Skit. And another kill on All. Does actually almost tie this up in favor of the Cold Team. They have 3 victories here. And we'll see if they can turn this into a tie for a ace match. Finishing up this this game with the ace match would be wonderful, as we're just about to go into the Grand Finals. And Cold Team almost zoning this rune, in fact. And they could very well grab hold of it in the next 10 or so seconds. And Warm Team does have the energy advantage and the the normal health advantage. Once again, pushing back Cold Team, and Skit is almost down to about 50% health. No damage coming from Phil Chill right there. It was all blocked by a shield, and a bugs into fear onto Phil Chill. Does CC him for quite a while. Could see a double ultimate here. Does use that in order to keep Cold Team in that corner and takes out Skit at the same time. And Phil Chill almost going down. He's about 15. Yeah, now at 15% health. Houston Aegis already used his last stand, so he needs to get healed up. Does use his ultimate, but not getting any healing from it so far. Almost going down at this point. Needs to get out of there. Probably going to space over here to Varian. Or maybe he doesn't even know where he is. He could be completely lost. Varian deciding to come to Phil Chill, but Phil Chill actually runs away from him. That might have been a bit of miscoordination. Varian could go down any second now. Looks like Bap is doing a little bit of a dance in order to kind of celebrate the victory a little bit prematurely, in my honest opinion. But nevertheless is dancing. And down goes Varian. So congratulations to Wear Fat for their victory. They're going on to the Grand Finals to go up against a Meat Bolt into Execute, no problem. And we're going to be looking at that game right now. And welcome back. Once again, this is Meat Bolt into Execute, no problem, versus Wear Fat on the Cold team with their triple demonics there and the pole dancing from the Blood Priest. We'll see which one of these teams is using the space from the start. In fact, it was both of them. Arborist once again using his space off on the start. Double mortars going out and a double execute. In fact, Fernando's was a little bit quicker, so he got the quick draw from that. And am having actually picked up the rune there, so that will be the Worm team with the advantage on the energy front. And Arborist taking a whole bunch of damage from that execute there. Pops his Aegis in order to reduce that, but now he's down to about 15% health. Bap down to about 25% health. Uses his ultimate just to peel himself a little bit there. All did jump in. He has almost enough energy for an ultimate, but not quite yet. Could see either team pick up the energy rune. It's open once again. Arborist has his ultimate. Having did pick up that rune. Arborist actually whiffing his ultimate there, and All does actually whiff his own shield there. He was expecting the execute to hit him, and Bap did go down right there, and Jolly Rancher getting hit by an execute into death, and All trying his best in order to possibly take out Having. That's the closest person to death at this point. Actually, Arborist would probably be the closest, except for the fact that he's a healer. And healers in general are pretty good at healing themselves. That just seems to be one of their really good skills. I'm not sure why, but that will be the first victory for Worm Team. And celebration fireworks coming from Fernando there. Nice for him to do that. And Cold team pushing up ahead. They have the rune advantage again, and Bap getting hit by a fear, and having does pick up the rune right there. So All does get triangle a little bit there for a little while, but that was all right for him. Having doing a good job at mitigating this damage here. Does actually lose 40 energy because he didn't use the EX buff there. So both teams mitigating their damage very well. We do see an ultimate from Jolly Rancher, and it hit Arborist a little bit there. One of the corpse explosions did, and we could see an ult from Arborist does go down, actually only hitting the thorn right here, so he decides to jump out of there before any amplify can hurt him anymore, and tries to pull in Fernando, but that doesn't work too well. He could use his ultimate right about here. Yes, he does, and forces Arborist to space out of there. Fernando getting separated over here, decides to use his ultimate in order to threaten the Cold team a little bit. Bap almost down, does go down to an execute, even though he had position from a Jolly Rancher. And Jolly Rancher decides to space over here in order to line of sight the Worm team, but that causes All in order to take a lot of damage there. All uses his ultimate and does not actually get to use his pull soon enough. He was interrupted by Fernando's space, stopping him from casting Defiled Plant fast enough to pull in Arborist and deal the final blow there. So that's Worm Team wrapping up the second round in their own favor. And once again, the Cold Team has a double space, but Worm Team does not have any space whatsoever. Dodging a fear from Jolly Rancher Fernando, very nice there. All trying to zone out the rune, trying to block a couple of shots there with his body or something similar to that. Jumps onto Arborist, but Arborist has some smooth moves to get out of that, and decides to space into the Cold Team there. Nice job there, and Bap almost down. Actually almost down to about 50% health, and Am did get hit by one of those corpse explosions from Jolly Rancher, all jumping in and using his ultimate, and that takes Arborist down to about 25% health. He's separated over here, did take an execute, so that was definitely a problem for him. Am almost down, uses his nether shift in order to get out there. He's down to about 15% health. Fernando's no better off. He doesn't even have any recovery health or any ability to get any. Am does go down, and followed very quickly by Fernando. So there we go. The Cold Team turning this series around a little bit, grabbing up their first victory here. Could be anybody's game. I don't know why the smart camera's looking over there. That's because it's not actually the smart camera, Shuffle. That is a keen eye. Alright, so Bap did push pretty forward there, but takes a Shadow Bolt, and that's going to put him out of the fight for a little while. Fernando, however, does get taken down to about 50% health by all, and not having any energy gain whatsoever. So now Worm Team is getting pushed back into this line here. They're line of sighting each other, so now Fernando has to use the space in order to get over there, but Jolly Rancher had an ultimate to follow that up with, and now Fernando, completely blind, has no idea that he's actually separating himself. Once again, Arborist gets feared, and Fernando has no way of escaping that. Actually, he manages to slip out. That was nice moves from him. Arborist down to 15% health, and Fernando does go down. So an ultimate and a counter ult from Jolly Rancher does take out Arborist there, and Am doing his best to heal up, but it doesn't look like that's going to do him any good. So evening up the series, doing their little pole dance. Cold Team is apparently figuring out the Worm Team, and at this point could be either one of their games. We'll see if this is going to go into an ace match as well. Do see Bap spaced up in order to do a stealth into spell block, and Cold Team has a little bit of advantage on the runing there. However, they seem to be losing it kind of quickly. Arborist Am does pick up the rune there, and a little bit of a treat from Cold Team. Bap taking most of the damage from Fernando. In fact, in my opinion, losing that engagement there. But Am does scoot out of there because he was overextended, but does take an execute to the face, and almost taking out Bap. There he goes down, and Jolly Rancher decides to space out there in order to dodge those AoEs, and all does dodge that execute. Not very nice for him. So if Cold Team wanted to pull this into a 2 versus 2, they would have to possibly focus Fernando down here, but he has his ultimate. He could use that at any point here. Thorn does have his ultimate as well. Jolly Rancher almost down. He's at 50% health, and Arborist actually kind of spaced almost into Thorn's ultimate there. Fernando does use his ultimate and takes out all right there using that final rocket, and Worm Team pulling ahead here in this series, taking their 3rd victory. Looking for 2 more from them in order for them to be crowned the winners of this tournament. Okay, and we do see a space into counter space. This is kind of stealth tactics going on here between these gunners. Finally going into a gunfight in the center, and Arbor spacing away. He had taken about 25% damage, does fear all, so he's able to keep himself up a little bit more. Am is apparently having something happen over there in the down there. I was not able to see that necessarily. So And ultimate from Arborist does actually hit one person there. Having almost going down right about there. And he's about 15% health, but he's going to kite around the edge until he can manage to get some healing done. And Arborist does get hit quite a bit. He manages to dodge that meter very well. Fernando has his ultimate, and down goes Having right there. He was trying to back up Arborist, but that cost him his own life. Fernando still looking for a situation in order to use his ultimate. Jolly Rancher decided to use his first, and that did take out Arborist. And after that, Fernando does go down quite quickly after that. So, once again, evening this up. So both of these teams just staying neck and neck with each other. Whenever one gets a victory, the other one does as well. And we'll see what Warm Team is going to has planned for this round in order to even this. I mean, not even this up, but pull ahead once again. And Cold Team still has advantage over the Rune, using the Affliction Warm Team does in order to try and push that back a little bit, but Jolly Rancher still picked up the Rune. Right now, Arborist is a little bit stuck over in that corner, gets feared over into that box there. Fernando, over by himself, does decide to space out of there, and now Having is a little bit split up. So the Warm Team is just going from fragmentation to fragmentation. An ultimate from Arborist does hit Jolly Rancher. It was trying to be an ult versus counter ult. At that point, Arborist does get hit by that ultimate, but does not go down to it. And Fernando taking huge amounts of damage. He's trying to push back the Cold Team and maybe force a reset here. Now he has his ultimate, so we'll see how he decides to use that. And down goes Bap. Having decided to jump in and do some aggression there was in fact the right decision. Almost looked like Warm Team was going to go down at this point, and it seems like they're able to pull into the lead for this one particular round. Jolly Rancher holding on to his ultimate, in fact dying with his ultimate, and Having uses his ultimate and decides to do the ranged version of it, which can be a advantage for not taking any damage whatsoever. So that's kind of playing it safe. At the same time, it's really key to do damage while you're still in the ultimate of Harbinger. So we're looking for one more round from Warm Team, or two more rounds from Cold Team. Kind of hoping towards this this ace match here once again. So. And Fernando does move up in order to do the aggressive space, and Cold Team could grab the Rune. There we go. Jolly Rancher does pick that up. Arborist took a lot of damage there, but managed to use a fear, and now down to 50% health. Jolly Rancher, on the other hand, has not taken any, so that means that Cold Team has, of course, the advantage until that execute was a double execute. Did a huge amount of damage, and a double ultimate also doing quite a big effect there. Jolly Rancher still has his ultimate, and we see an ultimate. Nope, I was going to say All was going to use his ultimate. Instead, Bap did go down to that pressure there, and Jolly Rancher down to about 25% health. He does go down to that meter right there, and this could be the end for Cold Team. It's only All. I want to root for him so that he can win, but no, instead he goes down. So congratulations to Wear Fat for winning this tournament here. This was the January 20th US 3v3 Pro Cup. It has taken my voice. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.